G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Well, we got a few storms early this morning. It's Sunday morning and I can't think of the bloody date, doesn't matter. Days just go into a blur for me. But it's Sunday morning and last night there was a bit of weather coming through, and this morning, look, about 2 a.m, 3 a.m, we got a few storms through for the morning and we ended up getting around 20 millimetres, so that was great. The temperature's still warm, you know, we're in the 30s, and the temp's still warm, and in the shed here I've been trying to do a bit of filming, and you've got to have the doors open and hope the shed's not creaking too much and all that sort of thing. So apart from that, we're going okay. I've been filming, you should have seen us yesterday. I'd come up the shed and Sparex have hopped on board with us with our TE20 series that we're starting, and I thought, right, I cleaned the bay. I spent last weekend mostly cleaning the shed. I didn't do a stew last week. I didn't have my days off like I normally would, and what I did, I was just trying to clean up and get everything organised for bringing these other tractors in and a few things like that. And we had kids over most of the time. It was supposed to be self-isolating, but yeah, not much of that seemed to be happening last weekend. But anyway, this week we've been good, and through the week nephew Ray come and stayed. He's from out west, and he had his caravan booked in for some work, so they're still doing the work. It was a bit of a funny setup. He brought his caravan down to have this work done, you know, and they want the work to try and keep their staff on in all this lockdown situation. Yet, yeah, so when you get there, you're not allowed to talk to anyone. You've got to go over in that block over there and unhook your caravan and piss off. And they'll talk to you on the phone. Take your credit card on the phone and do all that sort of thing. So he had to stay overnight for the caravan, and which that was fine, gave us a chance for a catch up. And but apart from that, we've been good. Work's still open. Last weekend on the day, some of the days I got in and I've taped across the floor there now. I had to get in with a tape measure, and for the COVID-19 regulations, we're an essential service. We're allowed to be open for business, which I'm really grateful for that. We've got good staff, and you just don't want to have your good staff or any staff to put them off because of some other bullshit Chinese flu. And so we were very grateful, but we have been wondering, you know, if sales drop, and you know, we were wondering what the government was going to do. But as an employer, the government's brought out a package now that if our turnover drops by 30%, I think it was 30, but if our turnover drops by 30% in Australia, to keep my employees on the books, even if they're not there, even if there's not a job for them, the government will pay us $750 a week to keep those staff on the books. And that was a great relief to us. We were wondering if we had no sales, what do we do? And the trouble comes with your staff then is both our staff are quite frugal with their holidays, and you know, I've had other staff where as soon as it was 2 days due, they'd be off on a fishing. But both our staff at the moment, they're frugal with them. They keep them, and they have little things they'd like to do. Ross has an extra week or so at Christmas, and there's always a hot rod show down the Gold Coast. He has a week off later in the year to go to, and things like that. So they've all got holidays owing, and so we were happy to pay holidays if we had to. But the problem comes then that you have no turnover, and then your holiday pay in Australia is 17.5% higher than normal rate, and each employee, right from the word go, from when they start, they have to work for you for 3 months before they can have a week off. But in Australia, you get 4 weeks annual leave every year, paid by the employer, me, at 17.5% pay rise. And it's just something that's been going on for years. I had it, I enjoyed it, and our staff have it and they enjoy it. But in the economic situation at the moment, if that come to the 4, well, paying holidays for 2 people with no income, you'd get to the bottom of the bicky barrel really quickly, I tell you. I've been watching the supers and all that sort of thing, and our supers and our shares, we have a few. I'm only a puddler in the share market, you know, I'm a hobby root-arounder, and the shares dived to about 25% roughly, some of ours, and but they seem to have stabilised for about 10 days to a fortnight now. Our Aussie superannuations seem to have stabilised, and for those of you overseas, we have a compulsory superannuation in Australia. So for every person I employ, and myself and Judy, we all take a wage off our company. Even though we own the company, we take a wage off it. So the government says to us, say you have money at a later date, for our staff we have to take, well, on top of their wages, say they get $100 a week, well, we've got to find 9.5% more and put into a superannuation fund every week as well. That goes in every 3 months, but we're working it so we can get it in monthly, so they get more of a benefit. So everyone in Australia has superannuation pretty well. If you're working for a boss, you will have super. So a lot of people's super took a dive because they were related to the share market. But in Australia, yeah, if you're a government worker in Australia, you get 12.5% on top of your pay, super. And if you're an employee of mine, just a normal company, well, we put 9.5% on top of your wages. So whatever we negotiate with you as a package, we then have to put another 9.5% every week into super for your old age, for your care. So look, it's a pretty good system. The Australian government's got behind this COVID-19 thing, and they've done a lot. I don't know how the country's ever going to pay for it. I believe America's done similar, but we're going to have a huge debt, and we had a fairly big one anyway, and our grandkids are probably still going to be paying for it. But I sort of had to think about it, you know, as the thing goes on, because that's all that's on the news, and at work we've had to put lines. We had to measure where Ross and Nicole and that were at the counter, and we've had to put a line away from the counter and limit the people coming in the front door to 1 person per vehicle, you know, not 4 or 5, 6 people. No kids coming in, unless they're on the hip type kid. We had one family come in, the kids are just wild little bastards, and they were everywhere. They had pins dropping down, bouncing on the seats, and the parents are blind, yeah. And so then they needed to go to the toilet, and we think, oh Christ. So yeah, you got someone, after that episode, you have someone half an hour tidying everything up and sanitising everything, and as per the rest of the world, you couldn't buy toilet paper in Australia, hand sanitizer and all that, you couldn't buy it. In town now, at IGA in Bundaberg, Judy, when we've needed toilet paper, see, we have to buy 2 lots. We have to buy some for work and some for home. So yeah, you've got to go into the IGA very early of the morning, and Judy went down Saturday. We were running out at work, and she said, I better try and get some over the weekend. So she went down Saturday, and she reckoned there was a lot of people out the front, but it was all orderly and everyone doing social distancing. And she said she walked in there, and the week before she went for the family, and you were only allowed 1 little packet of 4, and that's all they had. And once that was gone, that was it. But she went in on Saturday, and she said it was back to normal. You could buy a 24 pack or a 12 pack or whatever. So the toilet paper situation at the Maskell house is good. Nothing to worry about there. As long as we don't get the shits, I suppose. But anyway, but yeah, we've had the few things have changed with it all, and the posties don't touch us anymore. You know, we used to have to grab their little thing and their little electronic thing and sign it. They just put the parts on the counter and say thanks, see ya. And that's what they're doing with our tractor parts now too. No signatures. So if the postie says he dropped it there and you say he didn't, well, the postie wins. Unless it's eBay, then eBay never goes on the side of the seller. They just don't do that. So for us, we've been doing a lot of stuff, you know, signs and the doors to the dock we leave open so we're not opening and shutting them all the time. Washing hands, the door out the back to the spare parts, we've been, it gets left open all the time now. All the towels and everyone has towels and gets changed daily. We run out of hand sanitizer, and I used to make moonshine, you know, and bloody good stuff it was, too good. But anyway, I had 4 litres of 96% proof alcohol sitting up on the shelf in Bundy Bear's shed. And so we took that down and yeah, we cleaned out some aloe vera, the gel out of the aloe vera and mulched it all up and put the alcohol in, and we've got it around, pardon me, 70%. I've got an itchy nose now. It's about 70% alcohol, so it's good. So we've made some of that for, you know, it's on the back counter at work, and we have alcohol spray so we can spray the counter, and we spray the door every half hour. And so we're grateful that we're allowed open, but there's a bit more rigmarole in staying open. And the web sales and eBay sales have increased. The phone sales have been going really well. A couple of our suppliers have shut their doors, but we can still get parts. Yeah, they've closed the front counter, or they've closed access to the public, but one of them, you can ring them up for parts, and they'll take your credit card over the phone, and there's like a pallet out the front. They drop your parts out there and you pick it up, so you're not touching their door handles and all that sort of thing. So it's a new world we're living in. And but anyway, that's we're all the same. It's right around the world, we're all the same. There is government assistance out there for, well, I think our government's done a great job. Some people may beg to differ there, but that's fine. Everyone has an opinion that revolves around their own circumstance. And look, I reckon we call our Prime Minister ScoMo, and Scott Morrison's his name for the overseas people, ScoMo. And look, I reckon he's done a great job. We have a state premier, which would be like a state governor in America, and Anastasia Palaszczuk. And look, on a normal day, she's just dicked in the head. By Christ, she's a dopey bitch. But with this, she's coming good. And look, I can't fault her either. She's done well. And one thing that does piss me off with it all, though, is the leader of the opposition, Elbow, we call him over here, and he hops on and has a snipe that there's mixed messages and gives, I don't know, I reckon it's time to stop that bullshit. And then in Queensland here, we have a Labor government, then Deb Frecklington, she's the LNP lady, and that's who I follow. I think she does a good job, but she's been in there having a bit of a snipe too, so I reckon she needs just to bloody shut up for a bit. We all just need to pull together with all this and get going. And if you're working, you're lucky. All the pubs, clubs, unnecessary stuff is closed. A lot of people out of work. My lad Tim, he's a disability carer for the Endeavour Foundation, and he got his hours cut way back. And the reason being is when they look after the disabled in the hostels and all that, they're allowed to do that still. But if I'm disabled and I need Tim to come and grab me and take me shopping or take me to appointments and all that, well, they're not doing the in-house stuff, the one-on-one in-house stuff anymore. But so he had his hours dropped back, but then other people couldn't come to work because they've been child minding. But in Australia there's free child minding now while this is on, and so his hours have picked up again, so he said he's not too bad. And his girlfriend Ellie, she's the manager of Optus, the telephone people in Sugarland in town here, and she says, oh, people give her the shits, they come in right up near you, and yeah, she's a bit tender like that, but yeah, she's still got her job, and so they're both working well. The grandkids can't come over now. That's why we had a bit of a last weekend we probably shouldn't have had, but and they're not getting shared between the two families. They'd spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Tim's place, and the 1 week, then they were, because it's a split family, they'd go a couple of days each way. So now they're just staying at Bree's mum's place, and it's a lot safer. So funny old world we're living in, isn't it? And bloody Christmas time last year, we were whinging about water, and bloody we got a bit of rain over Christmas, and we thought, oh, 2020, brand new year, what a beauty. Well, I'm thinking of chucking my calendar to the shit house because it's not working. It's not a very good one. I've got I've got a big year planner above my desk at work, and whenever we hear of a tractor show or a rally that's on, or something that we perhaps wouldn't mind going to, I'd get it up on the calendar there, because people ask me about that. And, well, I got more cancels on that than anything. Even the kids' wedding, they're getting married in the last weekend in October, and they're not making a decision yet, but they're waiting till the end of June or July. They're going to make their decision up. So there you go. Funny old world. I'm putting out a video this week on the liner puller I made for the TE20. Now, I've been doing a bit of turning in the lathe, and I've made a step puller. That's to come up under the liner. I've made a few bits and pieces for that. I'll probably do a separate video on that, because it took a bit longer than I thought. And I've been filming this weekend. Yesterday I couldn't get to film. We had one of those days where the sun was coming over and it's cloud, and the shed was just, if it wasn't creaking, expanding, it was contracting, and the bloody noise. So I thought, right, I'll try and film of a night if I can. And so I come up yesterday afternoon, and yeah, you can still hear the crackling now, and it's probably 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon now, and it's still crackling. And I was here about 5:30, and I thought, yeah, look, this isn't too bad. I'll start filming, doing the video on getting the cylinder head off the TEA20, the Sparex one. And well, no sooner had I started, and the prick up the back starts riding mowing, chucking rocks. And a young bloke in a V8 out the front of the house here, he's pulling burnouts, and oh shit, I just squashed my microphone. And yeah, so I thought, bloody hell, bloke can't win a trick. So anyway, I got in early this morning, and I've videoed the introduction to the TEA20. I videoed the compression test. That was another thing. Yesterday afternoon I thought, right, I'll be able to video the compression test. Well, every time I cranked the engine over to get my compression pressure, Kelly thought we were going for a drive. So she's barking and carrying on. I couldn't bloody shut her up. And the shed's 230 metres from the house, so I thought, oh, bloody hell. And anyway, I just kept going with it, because I was having such a crook filming day. I thought, I've got to get something in the bag for the day. But the whole 4 cylinders, every time I cranked the engine over, she's barking and snapping at it. I was kicking her in the arse, and it didn't matter a bit. She was having a great time. So anyway, this morning I've got the cylinder head off, and I've filmed another little video taking the sump off. And tomorrow, all being well, maybe this evening, we'll just see how we go. I'm sitting here sweating here at the moment. I've got the doors shut, because the door in the corner there flares the camera out, and I've got the lights on in here, and the door over the back there near the highway, I've got it shut at the moment, just trying to lock the sound out. So we're not doing too bad. It's a pretty good sound clip at the moment, I believe. Shouldn't be too bad a quality. I'm also filming with I'm doing the wireless microphone bit, and I found in the breeze and that comes in the shed, I've got that sussed out now, and I have a microphone up here. There it is. That one's hooked straight to the camera, and I have this radio, or this hands-free Wi-Fi, I don't know what you call the bloody thing now, I can't think of it, and I'm recording a sound bite over near one of the 135s. So the idea of that is just to try and keep, I can adjust, once it goes into my little box over there, I can adjust the sound levels and I can play with it a bit. So I'm having a red hot shot with that at the moment. I believe the sound's coming out pretty good. I've got both cameras up here. I'm having to work out now how I show you all how to knock the pistons out of a TEA20. Now, by the time you get my fat head under the TE20, you know, they're only this far off the ground. And I've got the sump off, I've got to fit my head under there, I've got to fit LED lights under there, and I've got to fit cameras under there, and microphones under there. So I'm having a bit of a wonder, but I'm thinking, I haven't done it yet, but I bloody well might, I'm thinking of bringing the forklift in under the front axle and lifting it about 4 foot off the ground. And I've got some 4 foot high 16 ton axle stands. I'm thinking of putting them under there, and then that'll put the tractor up on an angle like that so I can shoot up this way, and then I can have another camera sitting up the top shooting out that way. But we'll see. I've got to set all that up yet, and yeah, we'll just have to see. Dad's doing okay in the old folks home in the retirement village, but we're not allowed to go and see him. They said, oh, if you need to you can, but you got to sign in, sign out and that, and we thought, well, it's just too risky. And then I was giving Mum a tune up the other day because every day she's out doing stuff, and I said, you're 83, bloody stay home, we can get you stuff. Oh no, I had to do this and had to do that, so I roused on her a few times. To my knowledge, she's stayed home. She mightn't be telling me everything either, like I used to do to her. But all the churches have been shut, all the churches cancelled, and their life sort of revolved around their church. So we'll see anyway. But look, I'll just take you for a quick walk around the TEA. There's not a lot else. I just thought I'd better pop a quick stew out. Most of the stuff I've been filming in the last day or two is going to be in the Sparex TEA 20 series, and I did make a little spider for the end of my lathe. I need to make a couple of new drawbars for my lathe, and the thread's 12 by 1.75, and I watched a few videos the other day just to have a revisor on it, and Joe Pazinski, he did a video that I watched a couple of times on using his tool upside down and threading away from the chuck, and I'm going to give that a go. I've never done it like that, and I just thought, I could see the sense in doing that, so I'll probably film some of that. Yeah, wait for some broken tools or something, it'll be good. That new 6-jaw chuck, what a cracker, I'm loving it. I put some parallels in behind that puller, and I was holding on by just the front, you got big serrations in the lathe, in the jaws of the chuck. Well, I can hold on the front in 6 places, and boy, it's solid. I've done some really good cuts and boring and that, and it's a beauty. I used to have my other independent 4-jaw on all the time because the little 3-jaw wouldn't hang on. But that 6-jaw Sanu, S-A-N-O-U chuck that I've recently bought, great thing. I'm really pleased with it. Through the week after work, I serviced the self-centering 4-jaw Sanu chuck, but I've not put it back on the lathe yet. I'm enjoying the 6-jaw one so much. So I'll just see. I do have to get it on there and centralise it. I've got it on the backing plate and all that, but I haven't got it there yet. Dave that does the plasma cutting in town here, and I've got it sitting up on my desk for when I did my stew up there, and he cut out a little Queensland Tractor Spares key ring with a couple of hooks, and I'll try and take a photo of that or something. That's a nice thing. Thanks, Dave. That's a good thing. And just a nice little thing. And it's just everyone's got different talents, haven't they? Different skills. So the main focus this weekend will be this TEA 20, and to get the engine stripped out. I want a bare block, and hopefully tomorrow I can get to the bare block situation and have all that filmed. Probably 4 or 5 little videos. I don't want them too long, like taking the cylinder head off. It's probably going to drag on a little bit, like the camera timed out at half an hour a couple of times. So we'll just have to see what happens. So I'll go for a bit walk. We'll go handheld. I'll take it for a quick stroll. I'll show you how clean my bloody shed is. Go, give you a woody. And that's about it though. Yeah, for the stew. There's not an awful lot happening that of interest apart from trying to hone in on this Sparex tractor and get that done. And I'm hoping this weekend and next weekend I can have all the pistons out, all the block cleaned up, the new liners back in, and I notice a couple of valves in the cylinder head here are way deep. So the thing that may hold us up is I may have to get a couple of inserts put in the cylinder head, which I can't do. I haven't got the gear to do. But apart from that, I'm hoping to have a quickie with that one, but We'll see. Yeah, some of my quickies, just never get there. I haven't got back onto my 135 bonnet. I sanded it back after buggering it up. I haven't even sanded it properly yet, and I just had to walk away for a little while. I haven't been back. I had to change the fuel filter housing. Someone needed a housing on my 135, so I had to change that the other afternoon. But anyway, look, I'm starting to waffle. Oh, well, more than usual. I'll waffle a bit. Have a good week, everyone. Hopefully we'll get back next week. Next weekend's being Easter, and we should get some good quality shed time and no visitors. That's the key to it all, I think, and we'll see what we can get done. So anyway, have a good week. We'll catch you next week, eh? Okay, this is coming into the shed now. I've cleaned it up a little bit. The where the TEA20 is over here, that's where the 135 was, and I choose to put them there because I've got a light up the back and I've got a light just above the front axle there, so I've got a little bit of room up over there where Judy's got the lawnmower at the moment, so that's okay. That's all me sound junk I've been fiddling around with. I am getting a better quality of sound coming through. I'm pleased with that, as long as I remember to turn it on. Now, you wouldn't believe how many times I forget that. And 135, I took it for a lap. It goes really well. Yeah, I enjoyed driving that around. And I've got the gold one here and the John Deere, and over the back here the old Farmall, and numerous Fergusons over that direction in there. But look, the shed's pretty clean. Another T20 up in there, and yeah, the floor's, whoa, come around here again. The floor's pretty good. I've swept it and tidied things up. I even, actually, did you notice that when I was talking to you earlier? I've tidied up my bench. Now, we'll go over there first. Look at that. What a fine effort. Who knows how long that'll stay there? You just don't know, do you? But we'll come back around, and this is what we're up to on the little TEA, and hopefully we'll get it set up somehow. I have to get under there somehow and work out how to do the filming and with good light and all that to get these pistons and liners out, but well, we'll work it out. That'll be tomorrow's exercise, I'd say. And there we go, that's what Dave made for us. That's a good little thing, isn't it? Got little hooks for us to hang our keys on. So I'm actually going to, I was thinking of popping a little hole here or here, or I haven't worked out where to put the holes yet to hang it in a different manner. I reckon, Dave, perhaps a little eye above them, just to put a screw or a hook maybe. But look, it's a great thing, Queensland Tractor Spares. And while we're in here, even that desk isn't too bad for me. So, and I've been up here fiddling around, and this was the little, oh boy, this is the little lathe dog I made, and I put it on a, to get the hole spacings and all that, I put it on a spin indexer with a little 3-jaw chuck, and look, it's a great little thing. It's a good tool, and the thing I like about that particularly is that with a 3-jaw chuck you can actually come in from the other end, and like it's hollow all the way. So look at, I think probably 5/8 might be the maximum, if that. But anyway, look, that worked well for that. And now, if I grab my little lathe dog that I made, and we come around here, down onto the end of my spindle, and the idea is that that goes on the spindle. Then if I have something long coming out, I can indicate off the back wall here and just have it nice and true so we don't get a whip up. So, and it can be the full 38mm, so that's okay. I I've got a bit of 12mm in there getting ready to do the J. Pazinski type threading, so hopefully I'll do that in a couple of evenings this week if I get a chance. I also pulled all the floor out of in here, and that's that gardening floor from Bunnings, and so I've pulled all the gardening, all that out, and cleaned that up last weekend, and look, that's come up pretty good. So yeah, I just did a bit of housework last weekend. I started one end and yeah, couldn't stop.